Can find some quirky old couches to gawk at, I'll consider it a good day of thrifting. I'm Michelle, this is my romantic tangle, and this thrift shop usually doesn't have a lot of vintage furniture, but there were those first two pieces, and then this couch caught my eye. And it's floral, it's old. I was not expecting what you can probably see reflecting in the video. This is vinyl. And it has a very specific texture to it that I spent the rest of the afternoon trying to figure out where I knew this texture from. Finally figured it out. I will tell you at the end of the video. I've been looking for an Afghan, and I have this vague idea in my head of what I am looking for. So far, I haven't managed to find it. I thought that this one might be close, but it had stripes at the end, so that wasn't it. Can you see what's catching my eye here? I would love another lace tablecloth to use as backdrops for videos, and this one was pretty, although I'm not sure that color is consistent now that I play it back. 1999 as is, I wasn't going to unfold it to look for the gaping hole. More Afghans, there were a lot more than I have seen in one thrift store at the same time, but none of them were fitting that vague idea of what I've got in my head. It's a toll painted Mother's Day plate from 1977 or 79. 70 something. It's hard to read there on the video. And then I saw this glossy decoupaged ad for old-fashioned brown bread. And I got it in my head that these two have to be from the same kitchen. And it would not surprise me at all if they were from the same household as those two couches. So that set me off on a scavenger hunt to see what else was in this thrift store that might have come from that same household. I've played the game before, but it was more fun today than it usually is. And I think I found a couple more candidates. I am not sure if this painted frying pan clock fits the theme or not. Now that I look at it on the video, darn, that's pretty. And I've seen painted frying pan clocks before, have passed them up, but that one is pretty. This lamp definitely could have gone in the room with those couches. And if it had a good shade, wouldn't that little tray be great for organizing your stitching while you're working on it? Different thrift store, but I could not include Betty and Boyd's bed and breakfast. They're cross-stitch rabbits. They're cute. And there's an inscription on the back. It was made for Betty and Boyd by Dad and Mom for Christmas 2002. There's a story there, and for $2.99, I hope somebody took it home with them. I don't need a sign for Betty and Boyd's bed and breakfast. I don't need cross-stitch white rabbits. They had a lot more scrap fabric than I usually see at this store, and some of it looked vintage enough that it could have fit with my imaginary woman who owned the couch and the kitchen stuff, but vintage fabric is all over the place. What do you think? Lots of sewing patterns this time. Here's a cross-stitch kit, and you always look at them. Okay, I wasn't going to buy a kit with a bear, but if I had been going to buy a kit with a bear, seeing that bobbinated floss on the back would have turned me off. The fabric is there, the instructions are there, or look like they're there, but there's no way of telling if any of it's been stitched or some of it's been stitched. And it's a good idea when you're looking at thrifted kits to look closely and see what you can tell through the wrapping. This one here is a bedtime prayer, and I swear that I have seen this same piece totally stitched and framed and have it in one of my videos from one of our Portland thrifting trips. If I can find it, I'll put a link down in the description below. And then I fell in love. It's a Dimensions Cruel kit. It's Aesop's Fables. It has the tortoise and the hare and the fox and the grapes and the town mouse and the country mouse and the lion and the mouse. Lots of mice. And I love everything about it. But it was taped up tight, and you just can't see how much of it was already done. And you can't tell if the person who had already started stitching it was doing a good job. I mean, probably a better job than I would do myself, but I loved it, and it was hard to leave behind. I also spent a lot of time looking at this Saturday Evening Post pattern, making up my mind about it. I love Norman Rockwell's Saturday Evening Post covers. Realistically, I am not going to stitch a hunter and his dog, even if they're on a fantastic stone wall. What really got me excited, though, were the pictures on the back, because there are a lot of these I would love to stitch if I could get my hands on the patterns, especially that gal with the perfect posture and her needlework frame and her super frilly dress. I am going to keep an eye out for these. I've got some other Saturday Evening Post patterns, but none of these. And then it was back to the Cruel kit and wondering if it came from the house with the couch and the kitchen stuff. And I could see some damage on the turtle shell. I don't know if that was mice or maybe moths. That's the excuse I finally used to make myself put it back down and step away. If it had been brand new, or if it had been finished and framed so I could get a good look at it, it would have come home with me in a heartbeat. And I did figure out what it was about the texture of that couch that evoked such strong memories. When I was a little kid, we had a vinyl couch, but it was shiny, icky, unpleasant vinyl in a different way from the thrift store couch, which was the same vinyl as the kitchen set we had when I was a kid. Thanks for watching. Let me know, do you think that some of this stuff came from the same household, or am I just out of my mind?